Hello everyone, hope you're all having an amazing day. Today we're diving into a gripping story. Jack is kidnapped, drugged and dragged toward the border, while Tu Tien collapses from exhaustion and lands in the emergency room. Will she survive? And can Jack escape the bad guys and make it back to her in time? If you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Jack slumped back against the damp wall, letting his shoulders droop and his eyelids hang heavy to sell the act. His breathing came out shallow and uneven, like someone who had almost fainted. He glanced at Vin and forced his voice to sound weak, but still clear. "I'm feeling a bit better, just a little dizzy," he muttered. "Let me eat some cake, drink a bit of milk, and I'll be fine." "The medicine Tone gave me wasn't that forget drug. They swapped it for a sedative, so don't worry." Vin leaned closer, lowering his voice. "So what's the situation? Do they suspect you yet?" Jack gave a slow, tired shake of his head, matching the exhausted look on his face. "Not yet. They still don't know. Everything's going according to plan." On the outside, he looked like a guy who could collapse at any second. Inside, his mind was clear and focused. If he wanted to bring these people down, he had to stay small, play weak, and quietly collect every piece of evidence he could. When he asked to borrow Vin's phone, he did it like it was nothing, as if he just wanted to call home. He called his mother first. "Mom, it's Jack," he said softly. "I've got an urgent job far away. I lost my phone, so Tu Tien couldn't reach me. I'm fine, really. Please don't worry." On the other end, he heard her breath hitch, then a shaky sigh of relief. She had probably been pacing for 2 days, imagining the worst. Guilt dug deeper into his chest, but he kept his voice steady. As soon as he hung up, he dialed the number he knew by heart, Tu Tien's. The moment the call connected, she picked up. Her voice was hoarse and rushed, like she had been talking through a sore throat that refused to heal. "Jack, is that you? Where are you? You disappeared for 2 days. I couldn't contact you. I thought something happened to you." Behind her words was the rough sound of a cough she couldn't quite hold back. The sudden cold weather had hit her hard. Her hands were swollen and aching, the skin on her neck dry and irritated. Every breath scraped against a sore throat, and every coughing fit left her chest burning. Jack gripped the edge of the table to steady himself, but kept his tone light. "It's me. I had something urgent to deal with and couldn't tell you in advance. I dropped my phone. That's why you couldn't reach me. I'll be back in a day or two. Just rest. Don't do anything heavy. Don't stress too much, okay?" On her end, she tried to laugh it off, but it turned into another harsh cough. For 2 nights, she had barely slept, stuck between worry and a body that felt more wrong with every hour. The night before, in a fever haze, she had whispered his name over and over. In her dream, Jack came back. He opened the door, smiled like always, and reached out his hand. One moment they were in Diep, walking in the chilly fog. The next, they were on a quiet beach at sunset, as he joked. "From now on, every year we pick a new place. Deal?" In that dream, there was no pain in her chest, no swelling in her hands. Waking up was like falling. She opened her eyes to a cold room, a spinning ceiling fan, and a violent coughing fit that left her gasping. Now, listening to his voice through the phone, her eyes stung. She pressed her swollen fingers into her palm, grounding herself. "I'm okay," she lied quietly. "Just come back soon." When the call ended, Vin looked at him with a mix of gratitude and concern. "Thank you," he said. "You've helped my family so much." If it weren't for you, we'd never dare to fight back." Jack managed a faint smile. Inside, though, hope, fear, and regret tangled together. He was pretending to be weak so he could stay in control, moving forward step by step, while the people he loved carried the weight of his silence. The borrowed phone felt heavy in his hand. His voice had trembled a little when he talked to his mom and to Tu Tien, but he forced it to steady, turning each word into a lifeline stretching across the distance. This cramped, dim room could trap his body, but it couldn't pin down his will. Every call he made was another step toward freedom, another way of turning borrowed strength into something he could use to strike back. He used the same phone to call Thu, sharing his location and what he had recorded so far. Then he reached out to Luan, telling him to dig into Tuan's company, especially any business involving the border. The door creaked open again. Tone stepped inside, his expression calm but his eyes burning with something dark and old. He pulled out a chair and sat opposite Jack, studying him like a problem he had finally decided to solve. "Do you know why you're here, Jack?" Tone asked, voice low. 10 years ago you took her from me. I swallowed that anger for a decade. Now I'm taking back what's mine. Sorry, but I'll be the one who's best for her." He remembered that day under the tree, watching the girl he loved walk past him like he was invisible, then stop in front of Jack instead. Their laughter had echoed in his ears long after they left. That resentment had never really cooled. It had just sunk deeper. Now that old grudge had dragged them both into this room. Tuan took out a syringe, the needle catching the light with a cold metallic gleam. "Forget drug," he said. "One shot, and your mind goes foggy. Then we drive you to the border, Nang Pass, Kinmon, 200 kilometers. Once you're across, you won't even remember your own name." What he didn't know was that the plan had already shifted. Hidden under Jack's shirt, a tiny recorder was still running. Earlier, when Tone wasn't paying attention, Jack had whispered to Vin, "You need this recorder. Follow the plan. Everything he says is evidence." The device lay against his chest like a buried secret, capturing every word of hatred, every detail of the plan to drug him and move him across the border. Outside this room, at almost the same time, Tu Tien's condition suddenly crashed. Her hands were more swollen, her neck rough and inflamed, her cough deeper and more painful. Breathing felt like dragging air through broken glass. When she tried to stand, the floor tilted beneath her, her vision blurred and a sharp pain shot through her chest. She collapsed beside the bed. Voices shouted, someone grabbed a phone and called an ambulance. Sirens wailed as paramedics rushed her into the emergency room. While Jack was staring down a needle and a decade-old grudge, the woman he loved was fighting her own battle, one inside her own body, with no idea if he would make it back to her in time. They shoved Jack into the back seat and slammed the door. His body was still heavy from the sedative, but his mind was clear enough to know one thing. This was the last stretch. If everything went right, this ride to the border would be the moment the whole plan snapped shut. Tuan got into the front passenger seat. The driver turned the key and the old sedan rolled out into the fading light, heading toward Nang Pass, Kinmon, almost 200 kilometers away from the city. Jack slumped between Vin and one of Tuan's men, eyes half closed, selling the act of a drugged, helpless hostage. Under his shirt, the tiny recorder pressed against his skin. It already held Tone's 10-year grudge, his confession, The plan to inject Jack and move him across the border. Now all Jack had to do was survive long enough for the others to do their part. The city faded behind them. Streetlights thinned out and disappeared. The road narrowed and began to twist around dark hills. Cold air slipped in through a cracked window, enough to keep Jack from drifting too deep into the sedative haze. The driver lit a cigarette. "After this, we're done, right?" he muttered. "No one coming after us?" "As long as nobody screws up," Tone replied, staring straight ahead. Vin shifted, pretending to pull Jack upright a little. Under his breath, he asked, "You still with me?" "Unfortunately," Jack murmured, barely moving his lips. "Remind me never to book this tour again." Vin almost smiled. Even here, even now, Jack was still cracking jokes. It made the fear sit just a little lighter on his chest. Somewhere far away in the city they'd just left, Tu Tien lay in a hospital bed. Her hands swollen. "Ko tho rap, ho hen keo dai do toi tiet lan." 2 days of waiting, panic, and cold air had pushed her over the edge. She'd collapsed, been rushed into the emergency room, and now machines and doctors were doing the work her exhausted body couldn't. Jack didn't know any of that, but something in him wouldn't stop pushing the same thought. "You have to get back, you promised. You..." After hours of climbing curves and passing dark tree lines, the car finally pulled into a small, run-down rest stop on the side of the mountain. A cracked concrete platform, one bent trash can, and a dead streetlight. That was it. "5 minutes," Tone said. "Then we move. No delays." The driver stepped out to smoke. One henchman followed, stretching his legs. Tone stood near the open door, eyes scanning the shadows. He never saw what was coming. "Police, don't move!" The shout tore through the cold air. Red and blue lights exploded from the darkness as police vehicles surged out from both sides, blocking the exit. Doors flew open, officers poured out, guns raised, voices firm and sharp. "Hands up! Step away from the vehicle!" The driver froze, cigarette dropping from his fingers. The henchman who'd gotten out tried to run, but he didn't make it 3 steps before 2 officers took him to the ground. Another man, halfway to reaching inside his jacket, stopped when he saw a rifle aimed directly at him. The back door jerked open. An officer grabbed Jack's shoulder, taking in the slack posture and unfocused eyes. "Jack, we're police. You're safe. Don't try to stand too fast. You've been sedated." Safe. The word felt distant, like it belonged to someone else. But the scene around him, Toan's men, forced to their knees, hands behind their heads, was very real. "Toan Nguyen," a senior officer called out. "You're under arrest on suspicion of kidnapping, illegal transport, and related crimes. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you." They yanked Tone's hands behind his back and locked them. His composed mask finally cracked. He twisted his neck toward Jack, eyes full of the same burning hatred he'd carried for a decade. "You think this fixes anything?" he spat. "You think this is over because you called the cops?" Jack met his stare, the fog in his head starting to thin. "No," he said quietly. "But it means you stop hurting people. That's enough for now." The officer helped Jack out of the car. His legs shook, but they held. Vin came around the side, still breathing hard, heart pounding from the sudden raid. "We had to let them bring you this far," Vin said. "If they moved too soon, they'd only grab a few guys. Tu sent them our live location. Luan gave them everything from Toan's company. They waited until they could take the whole chain." Jack managed a tired smile. "You did good," he said. "Your family's safe because of you." Another officer stepped up. "We've already secured your recorder," he told Jack. Between that and the files from Toan's office, he's not walking out of this. Relief washed over Jack, but it didn't settle. One thought cut through everything else. "I need to know about someone," he said. "Her name is Tu Tien. If she's in a hospital in the city, is she okay?" The officer hesitated, then nodded. "We checked before we left. A woman with that name was admitted a few hours ago. Intensive care. She was in bad shape, but they stabilized her. She's holding on." Those last 3 words hit harder than the sedative. The drive back down the mountain felt endless. Jack stared out the window, watching the road unwind beneath them. Every slow truck, every curve, every stop felt like a personal insult. He kept hearing her voice, rough and tired, trying to sound fine while she obviously wasn't. By the time the police car pulled into the hospital driveway, night had fully settled in. The siren was off now, but Jack's heart was still racing. He stepped out before the vehicle even stopped completely. His knees almost buckled, but he caught himself and forced his legs to move. Vin followed close behind. Inside, the harsh smell of antiseptic and the bright white lights made the world feel even more unreal. Nurses pushed carts, answered phones, checked charts, called out room numbers. Jack went straight to the reception desk. "I'm looking for a patient," he said, breathless. "Name's Tu Tien." The nurse typed quickly, then pointed down the hall. "Intensive care, room 307. You can see her, but keep it short. She needs rest." The walk to 307 felt longer than the entire trip into the mountains. Jack stopped at the door, closed his eyes for 1 second, then turned the handle. Inside, the room was quiet except for the steady beeping of monitors. Tu Tien lay on the bed, face pale, an oxygen line resting under her nose. Her hands were still slightly swollen, but calmer now. Her chest rose and fell in slow, even breaths. Jack stepped closer, fingers resting on the bed rail. Up close, he could see the dark circles under her eyes, the faint redness around her neck, the traces of dried tears. She looked small, fragile, but alive. Her eyelashes fluttered. Slowly, she opened her eyes. They wandered for a moment, then focused on him. "Jack?" she whispered, voice rough but clear enough. He smiled, and this time nothing about it was forced. "Yeah," he said softly. "It's me. I made it back." Her eyes filled with tears. "You were gone for 2 days," she breathed. "I thought you wouldn't." "I promised I'd return," he replied. "Took a crazy route, but I kept it." A tiny, shaky laugh escaped her. "If you disappear again," she murmured, "I'm really going to be mad." "Then I won't," he said. "When you're better, we're going. Beach, mountains, wherever you want. No more cancelled trips." Outside the door, Vin watched them through the small window and finally let his shoulders drop. There would still be statements, trials, and long nights ahead. Tom's hatred wouldn't magically fade. But in that small hospital room, with Jack at her side and Tu Tien still breathing, the story had turned a corner. For the first time in days, the future didn't look like a threat. It looked like a second chance. Jack is kidnapped by Toan, a man who has secretly hated him for 10 years for taking the woman he loved. Toan plans to inject Jack with a forget drug and smuggle him across the border through Nang Pass, Kin Mon. Jack fakes weakness, swaps the drug for a sedative, and secretly records Toan's confession. With help from Vin, he calls his mother and his girlfriend Tu Tien, trying to calm them while hiding how much danger he's in. Meanwhile, cold weather and 2 days of stress push Tu Tien's health over the edge. Her hands swell, her throat becomes rough, and she collapses, ending up in intensive care. On the road to the border, police ambush the car, arrest Toan's group, and rescue Jack. He rushes back to the hospital, reaching Tu Tien just in time to keep their promise of being together.